On today's edition of the program, we are bringing to you what the Guardian Post turned about AFCON 2022 in the nation, and equally we shall tell you about the resolution of Toronto retreat that many newspapers are focusing on this morning. The Toronto declaration that was made public recently by officials or those who organized the meeting during a virtual press conference. Let's go find out what the French newspapers have for us this morning with Bomotonguina. Gwladys. Bonjour Gwladys.
Bonjour Lasha et bonjour à vous qui nous regardez. Merci de nous retrouver pour Debrief, votre émission de revue de presse bilingue sur My Media Prime Télévision. Alors ce matin, nous ouvrons avec le journal Le Messager qui parle du conflit intercommunautaire, le silence coupable du gouvernement, alors que selon le journal, il est attendu pour trouver une solution pérenne au conflit meurtrier qui secoue le Logone et Chari. Les détails sont donc en page 3 de ce journal. En page 12, le journal parle des élections à la FECAFOOT. Niamsi s'aligne donc derrière Samuel Eto'o-Fils. Nous continuons ce matin avec l'anecdote qui parle lui aussi du conflit entre Arabes Shoah et Mousgoum. L'urgence d'une intervention de l'État est donc requise à ce niveau, alors que la guerre des chiffres fait rage autour de cette autre risque sanglante entre ces deux communautés. Les détails sont en page 3 de ce journal. Nous poursuivons ce matin avec Cameroun Tribune qui parle du plan d'urgence triennal, le temps de l'évaluation. Au cours de la première session du comité de supervision de cette initiative du président de la République, son Excellence Paul Biya, visant à booster le développement dans divers secteurs économiques et sociaux hier, le Premier ministre, chef du gouvernement, Dr Joseph Dongouté, a noté une exécution globalement satisfaisante sur le terrain, un dépôt et des difficultés qui ont aussi été enregistrées dans les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest. Les détails sont en page 3 de ce journal. Nous terminons ce matin avec Mutation qui parle du GECOM 2021, le temps des comptes. Le président de l'association Communes et Villes Unies du Cameroun, Augustin Tamba, dresse le bilan de la première édition des Journées économiques internationales des communes tenues à Yaoundé du 3 au 5 décembre dernier. Les détails sont donc en page 8 et 9 de ce journal. En page 5, le journal lui aussi revient sur les tensions intercommunautaires, Kousséri à feu et à sang. C'était tout pour votre revue de presse en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces journaux en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Bomotonguina. Gwladys, let's kickstart with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post this morning is focusing on preparations ahead of AFCON 2022 in the country. The paper, in one of its major headlines, writes this morning, Scandalous Yaoundé list prepared AFCON host city. According to the paper, pothole-ridden roads, poor garbage disposal, stinking toilet waste on major streets, persistent water shortage, deplorable roadside buildings, broken taxis, uncompleted AFCON projects paint picture of a city not ready for Africa's biggest football fiesta. You can get more details about the finding of the Guardian Post regarding the level of preparedness of the city of Yaoundé to host visitors come 2022, only in this edition of the said newspaper. And the paper is also telling us that over 70,000 Anglophone crisis refugees living in hell in Nigeria. We are told that the UN refugee chief has appealed for urgent international assistance to the over 70,000 Anglophones living in hell in Nigeria. And still in the Guardian Post newspaper, Eneo says it has invested over 100 billion francs CFA to improve electricity supply in 2021. We take you now to the Post Weekender. The Post Weekender newspaper is interested in what the paper terms this morning. We are talking about condemnation coming from the Northwest population, as well as notables who have condemned the kidnap of the phone of Mboyakum from Kevin Shometang II, who was reportedly taken away by Ambazonia fighters at or in his palace in Bambalang. And still in the post-weekend, Parliament has finally adopted CFA 5,752.4 billion as 2022 budget. More details in this edition of the post-weekend newspaper. On to Cameroon Insider. Cameroon Insider is focusing on the meeting which held at the Prime Minister's office yesterday, and talking about the meeting. 3 years emergency development plan was on the focus, and the government to relaunch abandoned projects. Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute yesterday chaired the first session of the supervisory committee of the plan, and it emerged from the meeting that some progress has been made in some areas of intervention, such as the construction of hospitals, rehabilitation of roads, and low-cost housing schemes in the country. Let's now take you to the Horizon. We're ending with the Horizon this morning. The Horizon newspaper is focusing on the Toronto leadership retreat. Southern Cameroon's leaders opt for multilateral mediation to achieve peace in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. Thank you for watching television as we are back in the studio to continue with our discussions this morning. And we are receiving Desmond, who is a member of the CRM political party. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning, Lasha Kingsley. Good morning, Gwladys, and good morning to all the viewers of My Media Prime. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. And let's begin with the Guardian Post newspaper this morning. The Guardian Post newspaper is focusing on the level of preparedness of Yaoundé when it comes to AFCON 2021, which will be played in 2022 in the country. The paper is telling us this morning that Yaoundé is not ready to receive visitors who will be coming in, or who have already started coming into the country ahead of the football fiesta.
It is really an excruciating situation regarding the fact that we know the status quo or what is happening in Cameroon. Firstly, what I can say is that Cameroon is not void of fear. There is fear of unknown everywhere due to security challenges. And the legitimate reason why Cameroon should host the African Nation Cup is not really valid, due to the fact that tourism is an essential aspect that brings revenue into the country. Tourism entails a free movement of people from one place to another. Due to security challenges that we have in Cameroon, people will not be able to move from one place to another. As a result, the revenue we are supposed to receive from tourism will not be received. I don't think Cameroon is really ready to host the African Nation Cup.
The focus of the paper, yes, go ahead.
Also taking into consideration the justice system in Cameroon, we know that the justice system in Cameroon is not fair, it is unjust. There is no respect of human rights. If you go to the field or the stadium and something happens to you, the government will not be accountable. And more to that,
that's an overstatement.
Yes, and
how can you say the government will not be accountable?
The government will not be accountable. In recent time, we all know Cameroon has been noticed for the violation of human rights. Every day we are condemning human rights violation, but no change. I think it is a really critical situation for Cameroon to host the AFCON. Also, adding to the fact that we still have limited aspect relating to the social amenities and infrastructure that we have. Many areas in Cameroon still have...
No, let's focus on the host cities.
Yaoundé.
Yaoundé, Douala, Bafoussam, Limbe, and Garoua.
We can not only focus on the host city, taking into consideration that it is an exciting activity.
But at least the host cities should be prepared to receive.
Even the cities are prepared. The people in the hinterlands, even in the city, we do have cases of light failure and all sort of atrocities.
That's what the Guardian Post is addressing this morning. That Yaoundé still have broken taxis. Yaoundé still have, still has roadside.
That is why I'm saying that it is a really complicated scenario. Look at the instance of traffic in our towns. It is a really critical scenario. On a daily basis, it is really critical to move from one place to another. Can you imagine it took me more than 2 hours, 30 minutes to leave Carthage to Bonaberi the other day, not to talk of when we will be hosting AFCON,
No, so major traffic will be controlled. I think the...
People will be lifted by air. What about the population that will be going to the stadium to watch matches? It is really a complicated scenario.
Okay, really a complicated scenario. Let's talk about what is happening in the far north region. And the Lanedot is accusing the government of Cameroon of not willing to solve the problem between these two communities that are fighting. The fight has already resulted to the death of 19 persons in the far north region, precisely in Logona and Shari division.
That is a normal scenario in our country. Our government, as we know, has failed to ensure the political, economic, and social well-being of the people. People are dying on a daily basis.
No, is it because the two tribes, they are fighting over grazing land or grazing land and fishing water. So how is it the concern of the government
the scenario
for
is
the two
everywhere.
people,
the problem is everywhere,
the two communities?
Fighting everywhere. The issue of insecurity and death in our country, we keep on expressing our condolences to the...
Is it not irresponsibility of the two communities? They are not responsible enough to be able to sort out themselves?
It is the responsibility of the government from the first place, taking into consideration that the government have what it takes to handle the crisis, but they have been undermined in many ways. It is very easy for the government to address a crisis like that, but we don't know why.
Those are two communities, as we were seeing on our screens, you know, the Arab Shwa, Gwladys, and the Musgoum.
Effectivement, et on se pose là effectivement la question de savoir comment est-ce que vous espérez que le gouvernement puisse résoudre ce problème, parce qu'il n'y a pas que l'anecdote.
Donner, to give the grazing land to the community that wants it, or the fishing water, the waters where they want to fish.
Yes.
How should the problem be solved? You are a legal mind. How should it be addressed?
Yeah, as far as addressing the problem is concerned, the government is supposed to carry out investigation to see what is actually going wrong there. After carrying out her investigation, he is supposed to analyze, bring out possible solutions to the crisis.
Okay.
After consulting various...
Mais ce n'est pas la première fois que ces communautés sont en conflit. Ce n'est pas la première fois, c'est au moins la troisième fois que ces communautés sont en conflit au Cameroun. Et à chaque fois, peut-être, le gouverneur va aller, va parler, et puis on se calme. Et puis, un autre jour, ça recommence.
If it is not the first time we have been experiencing it over and over, means the law has failed to ensure peace in our society. Therefore, something is really wrong with our government, because there is a problem of insecurity everywhere that, to an extent that we cannot really justify a specific case.
Okay, thank you very much for coming in, Mr. Desmond Munang. You are an active member of the CRM political party of Professor Maurice Kamto, and thank you so much. We hope to have you some other time.
Thank you. It was my pleasure being here. Thank you very much.
Let's go to the Guardian Post newspaper to talk about this situation of refugees in Nigeria. The Guardian Post newspaper is telling us this morning that over 70,000 Cameroonians are living in a kind of hell. The situation, the Guardian Post newspaper terms it as hell. So we don't actually know what is happening over there in Nigeria, and very soon we'll receive our second guest who is championing an association that believes that the problem of Cameroon and Africa at large is due to the ideologies of the white man, that the white man is at the origin of all the problems that we are having in Cameroon. Mr. Kum Nkie.
Mr. Kum Nkie.
Kum Nkie, thank you for joining us this morning. Okay, you're welcome. And you are here to talk about an event which will be coming up in Douala at Serena Hotel without any publicity. And you are championing an association that has to fight for the right of Africans not to be deceived by the white people. Can you tell us more about that? As we all know, most of the crises happening in Africa, your association is blaming those crises on the white man.
But I can express myself in French first.
Okay.
J'ai vu ce problème venir depuis. Un peuple qui vit sans son propre identité. L'identité de l'homme noir était bafouée. S'il y a un peuple qui vit sans identité, on aura les guerres partout. Les guerres seront partout.
That's our camera. Look that way.
On sera dans un conflit total. J'appelle le peuple camerounais, surtout le peuple bantou. Appelle au peuple bantou, le 12 à 12 heures, à Serena Hotel pour parler de notre identité. L'identité bantou est bafouée. C'est problème que vous avez au Cameroun, du nord-ouest, nord, tout ça, le noir n'a plus de place. Donc, il faut qu'on efface le bantou dans tous ces territoires, comme son nom est effacé.
Qui est l'homme bantou?
L'homme bantou, c'est l'homme noir, l'homme africain noir. Nous tous, on est les bantous. C'est les divisions du blanc. Que tu es Simi Bantou, tu es Tika, tu es blanc. Nous tous, on connaît que on nous est divisé pour mieux régner. Revenons à nous-mêmes. Le 12, essayons de faire un débat pour qu'on puisse revenir à nous-mêmes.
Okay. And how is this? Can you tell us some of the activities that you'll be doing? You'll be doing I mean, on Sunday.
On Sunday, we have.
You like to sensitize people? Is it open to everybody, or you have to pay something?
No, you don't have nothing to pay. It's free of charge.
You come and listen to
the lectures.
You come and
listen to Pan-Africans who already knows the things at hand, who have already treated those dossiers at hand. He tells you how to have your identity.
I also noticed that your name, you don't have anything like Peter or John or those kind of name we call them white man's name attached to Kum Nkie.
In truthful.
And you think that if your name is, if you don't have such name, like myself, I have Kingsley. So if I remove Kingsley, I'll be able to, how will I be able to be free from the white man? If I don't, I mean, bear the name of the white man you're talking about, because you are fighting identity, you are against people naming their kids with the name they got from the Western world and whatever.
Bro, let us go to the story. The story taught us that when white people came here, they made our names. We have our names, our African names. They says, let us give them names so that they cannot recognize themselves. They gave us names. Those names was a part of slavery. If today slavery have finished, let us reverse, don't agree.
How am I a slave being called Kingsley, for example?
Because it's, the first action of slavery was give the name.
Yes.
I would just by story by film, the film of Kintakuti, who says, ne m'appelez pas Toby, appelez-moi Kintakuti. It's our grandparents. We must think about them. We must think the blood that through the slavery, our grandparents poured blood. Africa was full of blood, but all the whole world don't care about this. Let us think about our grandparents. Let us think about the slavery. It's an action. It's not an action that we can live it.
Peut récupérer notre identité qui a été perdue.
En acceptant d'être vous-même.
Comment?
Par votre propre identité.
C'est justement la question qui est posée. Comment est-ce que nous...
Je vous le coupe par exemple, je prends l'exemple de moi-même.
Ok.
Lorsque je commence à vivre et je suis déjà mûr, mature, je commence à regarder mon acte. Je vois comme Francis Nkie. Je me pose la question dans ma langue, Francis signifie quoi? Parce qu'un nom, qu'est-ce que le nom? Le nom signifie un objet, quelque chose ou la personne. Est-ce que je suis la personne de Francis? Je suis Kum. Dans ma langue, Kum signifie un homme noble. Nkie, c'est le Nkie, le légume qu'on cueille en brousse là. C'est sucré et c'est amer en même temps. Comme et qui a une signification dans ma langue. Français n'a aucune signification dans ma langue.
En même temps, si on enlève tous les noms des blancs que nous avons,
on devient
va récupérer nos identités.
On devient nous-mêmes.
Et ça va changer aussi nos mentalités. Parce
ça va changer nos mentalités.
Okay.
Et je vous le répète encore, un homme qui n'a pas l'identité, il n'a pas sa terre.
But you know that you come from Esu, no?
I'm from Isu, Womb.
Isu, in Womb.
In Womb.
So why are you telling us that you don't have an identity? Or if the Francis that we're talking about, did the Francis change anything from you being somebody coming from Isu in Womb? They had to fight to remove the Francis.
My brother, it was just last time I was watching the TV. I met Dual people walking aside of the road, reclaiming a land. I quietly feel myself that somebody who don't have identity, who don't have a land. The dweller don't have their really identity. They don't have land. They can broke you every day and every time. When you don't have identity, you don't have land. I'm talking to the Amazonian. I'm talking to the Cameroon government. When you don't have your really identity, you don't have a land.
So
Donc,
all these fights.
Le problème du Cameroun, c'est en fait le
De l'Afrique noire.
Okay.
Le véritable problème de l'homme bantou en général, c'est son identité.
Okay.
Parce que vous ne pouvez pas croiser un caucasien avec une identité bantou. Vous ne pouvez pas croiser un chinois avec une identité bantou. Soyons nous-mêmes. Je fais appel au peuple que soyons nous-mêmes.
Donc, si on arrive à enlever ces noms et que par ricochet, on regagne
notre identité, un nom qui n'a pas
on va arrêter des conflits.
Le conflit va s'arrêter.
Le premier des choses, c'est enlever.
Après
avoir enlevé, il y a quoi? Qu'est-ce qui suit après? What follows after that?
What will follow after that is that the black
You start reasoning like an African man.
Yes, a black man will come when you are. If I know that I'm myself, I'm a Bantu man. How can a Bantu man kill a Bantu man? It will be impossible. If let us even, I give the government an insurance that if my name was Kum Mvondo, I'm Kum from Bamenda, Mvondo is from Yawundi, that make the really union. We cannot be said that we are united on which we are separated. Anglophone, Francophone, all of us are Bantus.
Okay.
There is not Anglophone here, not Francophone there.
You have a last question for him before we go.
No, it's okay, it's okay. Yes,
Thank you very much, Mr. Kum Nkie.
Soyez Bantu. Je vous invite dimanche à 12h.
Look at the camera and talk to Cameroonians. Yes, go ahead.
Je vous invite à 12h à l'hôtel Serena. Là, il y aura M. Nyamfoka, qui va vous expliquer réellement qu'est-ce qui se passe, comment. Il y a les psychologues qui seront là. Il y a les scientifiques qui ont étudié l'Afrique noire et qui connaissent bien qu'est-ce qu'est un Bantou. Ils vont vous expliquer, il y aura beaucoup du monde.
Ce qu'on peut faire pour vivre en paix.
En paix.
Parce que c'est...
on trouvera une solution.
Selon vous, c'est les Blancs. Selon vous, c'est les Blancs qui nous divisent.
Mais ils ont écrit en noir sur blanc. Divisez-le pour mieux régner.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Kum Nkie, for coming. You are a member of an association that is championing the restoration of the identity of the Bantu people. According to your association, the Bantu people are Africans. Hopefully, and you said the rendezvous is at Serena Hotel on Sunday midday. So he is inviting all Cameroonians to be at Hotel Serena here in Douala for the event, for them to explain what we need to do in order to live in peace. Thank you for watching, televiewers. The program was produced by Christain Tebong, Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha. Bye-bye.